This is Freshly Squeezed True Crime, a Florida-only true crime podcast. I'm Suhaili, and before we get to this week's juicy episode, I ask you to visit the website at fstcpodcast.com, where you'll find all of our social media platforms as well as the newest episodes. And also, find us on YouTube, where we'd like you to follow us, subscribe, share it, do all the things. So, pour yourself a tall glass of orange juice and let me tell you a story. We here at Freshly Squeezed want to bring in the new year with a bonus episode. But working on this episode got me into thinking about why I do Freshly Squeezed. And a lot of it has to do with the topic that we're covering today, which is Florida Man. So let me read you a little something that has never been released. Welcome to the Sunshine State. Juan Ponce de Leon landed on this rock in 1513 and nothing has been the same since. We are bordered to the west by the Gulf of Mexico, to the northwest by Alabama, to the north by Georgia, and to the southeast by the Bahamas. We are the only state to be bordered by the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean. Over 21 million people are sharing over 65,000 square miles, with 12,000 of those miles being water. We are ranked the third most populated behind California and Texas. So, some shit is bound to happen. No amount of orange juice or key lime pie can keep Florida Man from being, well, Florida Man. We are known for our 825 miles of shoreline, Walt Disney World, and the Kennedy Space Center, and so much more that has shaped our culture, our identity, and our daily life. So, what has made Florida so notorious? Is it natural disasters, the blazing sun and heat, our dangerous animals and insects, or is it a combination? Because here in Florida, we have it all. Hoaxes, deceptions, murder, mayhem, organized crime, white-collar crime, serial killers, and of course, Florida Man. Freshly Squeezed True Crime is here to tell it all. We are a true crime podcast dedicated to the 27th state in the Union. Grab your fried gator tail, conch fritters, Cuban sandwich, public sub, and a pitcher of sweet tea, and join me, Suhaili, as we travel through this sunny place for shady people. Freshly Squeezed was a concept that was near and dear to my heart as a love letter to the state of Florida. As you can tell by my accent, I am not a Floridian. I'm a Yankee. I'm a Northerner. I am from the beautiful state of New York. However, I have managed to raise my family here, start a career here, and build a home here. So, Freshly Squeezed True Crime is my love letter to the state of Florida. And Florida Man is a part of that. So, here we go. Florida Man is an internet meme first popularized in 2013, referring to an alleged prevalence of people performing irrational, ridiculous, and maniacal actions in the U.S. state of Florida. Internet users typically submit links to news stories and articles about unusual or strange crimes, actions, and or other events occurring in Florida, with stories headlines often beginning with "A Florida Man today," etc., etc., followed by the main event of the story. Because of the way news headlines are typically written, they can be creatively interpreted as implying that the subjects of the articles are all single individual known as Florida Man. The Miami News Times claimed that freedom of information laws in Florida makes it easier for journalists to acquire information about arrests from the police than in any other state, and that this is responsible for a large number of news articles. A CNN article on the meme also suggested that the breadth of reports of bizarre activities is due to a confluence of factors, including public record laws giving journalists fast and easy access to police reports, that relatively high population of the state, its highly variable weather, and gaps in mental health funding. So, let's start with story number 1. The alligator drive-thru incident. A Florida man orders at a fast food drive-thru. Everything seems normal until he tosses a 3.5-foot live gator through the window. It was not a prank. It led to charges of assault with a deadly weapon and wildlife violations. Why? Florida law takes native wildlife seriously. Tossing an alligator is not only dangerous, it is also a blatant misuse of a protective species. Florida's wildlife laws protect wildlife. Handling, harming, or even transporting native animals without a permit can lead you in serious hot water. The test my meth burglary. A burglary victim reported that someone had broken into his home and provided a home security video for the man's description. The suspect was found not too far away and admitted to breaking into the house because he could hear barking dogs inside. The suspect turned his bad day into a legendary one when he complained to deputies about his quote bad meth and asked them to test it because, quality control matters. The deputies kindly obliged, confirming his meth was indeed real, and rewarded him with a pair of extra possession charge to go with his burglary arrest. Turns out some things are better left untested. Florida man takes drunk driving to the next level on a Segway. He made quite the scene when police spotted him swerving into oncoming traffic directly outside the Polk County Sheriff's Office. With a heavy smell of wine on his breath, after admitting to drinking nearly 2 bottles, he was reportedly 3 times over the legal limit. Officers had to redirect cars to avoid colliding with the rogue Segway, while the Florida man struggling through a sobriety test explains he, quote, gets tired fast due to his pacemaker. While Segways may seem harmless, Florida law treats them as a motorized vehicle, which means DUI charges apply, no matter how fancy your ride. After a quick detour to the sheriff's substation, the man posted a $1,000 bond, likely leaving both his Segway and his dignity behind. Lesson learned. Even on 2 wheels, Florida's DUI laws are no joke. Deputies playing an unplanned game of hide and seek found their suspect when they discovered Florida woman hiding inside a couch. Usher, who had been on the run since early November for violating her probation, related to the sale of fentanyl and unlawful use of a two-way communication device, clearly overestimated her hiding skills. A convicted felon with a history spanning Citrus, Manatee, and Pasco counties, her rap sheet includes fraud, grand theft, and writing worthless checks. It seems her creative methods didn't help her evade justice this time, as deputies put an end to her high spree, couch cushions and all raid. 2 Florida burglars took teamwork to the next level when they called 911 asking for help moving stolen items from the house they were robbing. According to deputies, the pair broke into a home and decided the best way to transport their haul was to involve the authorities. When officers arrived, the woman also asked for a ride to the airport because they wanted to spend the weekend in New York. The deputies not only helped move the suspect's belongings, but also secured them a free ride to jail. The duo now faces burglary charges, proving that sometimes calling 911 isn't the smartest way to solve your problems. Deputies did help them with their belongings and did give them a ride, but it wasn't to the airport. It was to the Pokey Poke in Polk County, and they are welcome to stay there all weekend long. The Polk Pokey is much better than New York anyway, read the sheriff's office Facebook post. A 51-year-old ultra-marathon runner and Florida man made waves in August 2023 when he attempted to cross the Atlantic Ocean to London in a homemade, quote, hamster wheel vessel. About 70 nautical miles off the Georgia coast, the Coast Guard intercepted the human hamster, leading to a bizarre 3-day standoff. You see, he refused to leave the vessel, threatened to harm himself, and claimed he had a bomb, though later he admitted it wasn't real. The man was eventually arrested and charged with obstruction and violating a court order. This wasn't his first hamster wheel adventure. Similar attempts in 2014 and 2016 ended with the Coast Guard intervention, including one dubbed the, quote, hamster wheel of doom. Despite his repeated failures, this Florida man remains committed to the inspiring dreams of oceanic conquest. The next story states, this Florida man took it to a new level when he tried to evade deputies on a John Deere riding mower in 2022. When officers arrived to serve arrest warrants, the man ignored the commands to stop and instead attempted to low-speed getaway across the backyard. The foot chase ended quickly, 17 seconds to be exact, but deputies deployed a taser to bring his lawnmower escape to a halt. The man now faces charges, including resisting arrest, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, and grand theft of a motor vehicle. This wasn't his first brush with creative escapes, however. 7 months earlier, he had eluded deputies by jumping into a swamp after being questioned about the theft of a $40,000 boat. Clearly, when it comes to running from the law, this Florida man keeps things unconventional, but not very successful. Our next Florida man turned a stolen rental car into his own Uber side hustle because why let crime get in the way of making a little extra cash, am I right? After swiping the car from an Orange County rental company and skipping payments, this man kept the car running for 3 weeks straight to stop the company from remotely disabling it, calling it the ultimate life hack. That didn't work. The rental company blew up his phone daily, and his, quote, genius plan came to a screeching halt when Polk County deputies pulled him over mid-Uber ride with two very confused tourists from the UK in his back seat. When asked, Florida man admitted he knew the car wouldn't restart if he turned it off, so he just left it running. Creative? Sure. Successful? Not much. A Florida man was arrested after he drove through a closed beach and onto the ocean. During his arrest, he can be heard telling deputies that he just wanted to surf, and it's not his fault that the truck didn't surf. Some Swifties went to drastic lengths to see their favorite artist on the Eras Tour this year, but this Florida man took it a step further. A 44-year-old man was arrested for impersonating a security guard to get into Swift's Miami concert, according to an arrest report. He told an officer he didn't have tickets, but got in after he escorted his 4 clients, quote, to their seats. Our next Florida man was arrested after he indulged in sweets and other various items inside a closed Walgreens for several hours, according to the police. Quote, I came in here to use the bathroom, the man told the officers. After being in the restroom for nearly 5 hours, police said the man began roaming around the store, treating himself to various items such as Tostitos spinach dip, chips, Reese's peanut butter cups, Ghirardelli chocolate bars, a Dr. Pepper, and Newport cigarettes. A Florida man decided to chow down on raw chicken daily in a bizarre challenge to find out if eating raw meat isn't as horrifying as it seems. John, who has chosen not to share his last name for privacy reasons, films himself eating slabs of raw chicken and chugging raw eggs for his 400,000 Instagram followers for a few months. He said he plans to eat raw chicken every day until he gets a tummy ache. There is no word on how John's experiment turned out, but it's probably safe to assume he eventually got a tummy ache, as he has not posted on Instagram since July. A man in Collier County narrowly escaped a potentially deadly encounter with an 11-foot alligator thanks to one of his neighbors. Quote, I was driving and we saw a man laying on the ground waving his arm. The man told WBBH. We pulled over and I got out of the car and I saw that an alligator had him by the leg. With not much time to think, our Florida man ran over to the alligator, which released his neighbor from its mouth. Our next Florida man was arrested after he live-streamed himself climbing a cellular tower in Hillsborough County. When authorities found him, he was climbing back down the tower after sharing his adventure on his social media. Quote, you made it all the way to the top, an arresting deputy asked the man. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, the deputy responded. He was taken into custody once he reached the ground. Our Florida woman next was accused of stealing an ambulance from a children's hospital and leading deputies on a chase. Quote, this ambulance is all over the road and it's running red lights. It's going to end up killing someone. It's purposely, recklessly driving crazy, an audio clip released by the sheriff's office. Her joyride came to an end after deputies managed to box in the ambulance with the patrol vehicles. She was taken into custody. Our next Florida man says he, quote, made a mistake when he called in threats against himself in an attempt to get revenge on someone. The 20-year-old told police he received the following emails. 1. There's a bomb on your grandpa's property. 2. I'm going to break in your house and shoot you in the effing head. 3. I'm going to kill you. Watch me. When he followed up with police to ask why they hadn't arrested the person accused of sending the threats, they arrested him for allegedly filing a false report instead. Our next Florida man was caught on video purchasing a mask from a gas station before walking across the street to burglarize an unlocked bank, according to the Martin County Sheriff's Office. With the help of security footage, he was later found and arrested. He was charged with burglary despite the fact that the only thing he walked away with was the mask that set him back $5. A Florida woman was arrested this week when she made the bad decision to call police to report a friend had stolen her weed. Not only did she have marijuana with her when cops arrived, but they also found she had 2 outstanding warrants. According to the police report obtained by the Smoking Gun, documented the Florida woman's ordeal. Stewart police responded to a call about stolen property at a Best Western hotel. When they arrived, they found Lily Rinker, who gave them the play-by-play on how the theft went down. Rinker was, quote, hanging out with her friend Carlos, whom she had known for only a week at the Best Western that night. During the time they hung out, she had approximately $30 worth of weed in her grinder. After Carlos left, she looked in her grinder and believed about half a gram was missing. The only thing she could think to do was, the wrong thing, call the police. The police officer asked Rinker for some identification, only to find out that she was wanted on 2 outstanding warrants. One was for a missing court hearing for a criminal mischief case. The other was for not appearing to a violation of probation hearing for her DUI earlier this year. Our next Florida man who, quote, let it go all over a stuffed toy at a Pinellas Park Target is facing charges. 20-year-old Christopher Meter of St. Petersburg was arrested on Tuesday after allegedly violating multiple stuffed animals in the store. Meter went to the toy aisle and began, quote, dry humping a stuffed Olaf, then ejaculating on it. Boo! After defiling the Olaf doll, he placed it back on the shelf, grabbed a large stuffed unicorn, and began to dry hump it as well. Police arrived and arrested the Florida man in the store shortly after the incident. He was arrested on criminal mischief charges. Next, on the evening of August the 27th, 2 officers from Niceville Police Department went to assist firefighters at a home in Niceville in Okaloosa County. When they arrived, the officers saw white smoke coming from the house and could smell something burning, according to the incident report. A man, later identified as James Gregory Cunningham, answered the door, said he was sorry, and then closed it. The individual was naked, said the report, and in a, quote, a smoke-filled house with items on fire inside of it, such as towels. Florida man seems to make a habit of starting fights. You see, this time he picked on the wrong guy. 50-year-old Omar Marrero attacked a former MMA fighter with a 14-inch knife. It didn't end well for Florida man. It was around 4 a.m. when the former fighter was just pulling into a parking spot when Marrero began to bang on his car window with a knife. Marrero then opened the driver's side door and tried to cut the man. Things escalated quickly. While being interviewed by CBS News Miami, former MMA fighter Javier Baez explained what happened. Guy was out there screaming on the phone, literally was fighting for a while with some woman. He tapped on my door window. I told him to leave me alone, and then he came at me with a knife. I told him to leave me alone. I was calling the cops. I hope he doesn't break my window. That's all I cared about. When you train so many times, it becomes just a reflex. Once it came to that, it's all instinct. I couldn't do much but just react. I had been training my whole life. Black belt, jiu-jitsu, wrestled in college. I've been 8 pro fights, MMA masters. I've got training partners. As can be seen in the video, Florida man got a good old-fashioned Florida ass whooping. Baez dodged lunging man, then body slammed him. He held Marrero down with his knee in his back and he called the police. According to the Miami-Dade police report, Marrero was charged with burglary with assault or battery and also for aggravated battery. A Florida man faces charges for an alleged savage attack on his parents over a pork chop. According to court documents, 28-year-old Austin Day complained that the pork chop prepared for him by his father was, quote, too acidic, and accused his parents of trying to poison him. Then, without warning, Day smashed a glass mug over his mother's head before chasing after and stabbing his father with a knife. Day's parents told officers that Day had recently become increasingly paranoid. He is being held at the Leon County Detention Facility and is charged with 2 counts of attempted homicide. In Gainesville, Florida, a Krispy Kreme employee is in jail after police say he stabbed the boyfriend of a co-worker after an argument on how to make the donuts. Gainesville police officers responded to the restaurant around 10 p.m. on March 27th and said they found a male victim laying on the floor with several stab wounds to his torso, stomach, and thigh. Officers applied a tourniquet and the victim was taken into surgery at a local hospital where he survived. According to the police department, Julius Irving, the 32-year-old man, had gone into an argument with his co-worker over how to make the donuts. The employee called her boyfriend to come pick her up, and when he confronted Irving about the argument, officers said Irving tried to hit him. A physical fight broke out, and officers said that Irving armed himself with a 4-inch knife and stabbed the victim several times. Officers quickly took Irving into custody, then said he confessed to the stabbing. Irving is charged with attempted homicide and was booked in the Alachua County Jail. Tampa. A Florida man was arrested Friday for driving a stolen pickup truck to a Space Force base in Brevard County in what he calls a mission from the President of the United States, the report said. According to WESH 2 News, 29-year-old Corey Johnson of Ocala stole a Ford F-150 from Riviera Beach 3 days before he drove to Patrick Space Force Base. When Johnson tried to get on the base, he claimed the president told him in his mind that he needed to take the vehicle and warned government officials that there were U.S. aliens fighting Chinese dragons, WRBW reported. Johnson was arrested and booked into the Brevard County Jail. He was charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle and bond was set at $3,000. Patrick Space Force Base is home to the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station and Space Launch Delta 45, which is described as the premier launch delta of the United States Space Force. The site is located approximately 18 miles away from the Kennedy Space Center. And now, a love letter to Florida. Its heartfelt ode to a vibrant contrast. The salt-kissed beaches, ancient springs, Spanish moss-draped oaks, and fiery sunsets. Celebrating its unique blend of tropical paradise and wild nature, its diverse people and fresh flavors like oranges and Cuban coffee, and the deep connection residents feel to its ever-changing coast, despite, and sometimes because of, its wild weather and Florida-man eccentricities, cherishing it as a home to where life feels more alive. To my Sunshine State, you are more than just the Sunshine State on a postcard. You are the thick, sweet scent of orange blossoms mixed with salty air, the feeling of sand between my toes, and the electric thrill of a sudden thunderstorm that washes the world clean. You're the deep, cool magic of freshwater springs where I can swim with manatees and turtles and a secret world hidden beneath the surface. I love the way the Spanish moss drapes from ancient live oaks like ghostly lace, the rhythmic crash of waves on Gulf and Atlantic shores, and the fiery sunsets that paint the sky in colors no artist can truly capture. You're the taste of Cuban coffee and fresh squeezed juice, the buzz of Miami's Art Deco nights, and the quiet, untamed beauty of the Everglades where alligators rule. You're the snowbird's dream escape and the lifelong home for those who find their soul here. Even when others don't understand, you are the laughter of friends on a beach, the chaos and calm of family, and the surprising kindness found in unexpected places. You are the raw, untamed spirit that makes me feel most alive, from exploring hidden hammocks to simply standing in the heat, feeling the life pulse all around. You are complicated, beautiful, resilient, and forever etched into my heart, a place I will always return to, feeling the salty air and knowing I am home. With all my love, a grateful Floridian. Happy New Year and welcome to 2026. This episode was squeezed to perfection. Freshly Squeezed is hosted and written by me, Sue Haley, and executive produced by Ebony. Still thirsty and need more? Visit us at fstcpodcast.com for links to all our social media handles, including YouTube. Want to keep the juice flowing? Make a donation by buying us a glass. And as always, cheers.